And welcome into this edition of ACAP Today for the week of August 1st, first week of August already, folks. I'm Jason Parent with the Aroostook County Action Program. On this week's edition, we're going to talk about World Breastfeeding Week. This week is World Breastfeeding Week. We're going to talk with 3 of our ACAP team members, 2 team members, and a consultant that we work with here in the local community about the importance of breastfeeding. We're also going to sort of get caught up on what's happening with the formula shortage and how that's impacted families here in Aroostook County, and whether that's been a challenge for families here in Aroostook County, and even if it's encouraged more individuals, more women in particular, to consider breastfeeding during this World Breastfeeding Week, given that shortage. We're going to get into that conversation in just a little bit, but before we do that, we first get into the news and information that you can use, again, for this, the first week of August 2022. We begin in the news and information you can use segment by inviting one and all to join us for our Back to School Bash. This is a free community event happening on the 10th of August, so next week, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's going to be happening at the main office or the customer service center of the Aroostook County Action Program at 771 Main Street, the building near Walmart in Presque Isle. We'll be distributing backpacks to those who have signed up in advance. You want to register in advance, you can go to our website, acap-me.org, if you want to sign your children up for a backpack. There's some specific guidelines about who's eligible there, but you can find that all on our website. There'll also be giveaways, free clothing. We'll have the clothing distribution there for families looking for new clothing or new to them clothing for back to school. There'll be informational booths about various ACAP programs, as well as some community partners who will be joining us that day, and some fun activities and games. It's all happening in the parking lot at our 771 Main Street Customer Service Center in Presque Isle, and we encourage you to join us for that day between 10 and 4. That's again on the 10th of August. Next, a reminder to sign up for, if you haven't already, as we're in the final stretch here of the ACAP Summer Scavenger Hunt that goes until the 10th of August, until that bash event. There's 50 missions to complete, and it started back on the 21st of June. But trust me, you're not too late to get into the game. In the next 10 days or so, you can certainly complete a number of those missions. And if you are in the top tier, we're going to be drawing prizes for the first, second, and third place, because there's many people who have completed a number or all of the challenges as well. But there's over 100 people engaged in this, and we encourage you to get on and play. It's powered by Goose Chase, and you can get Goose Chase on your Google Play or in your Apple App Store if you have an Apple brand phone. We encourage you to do that and to play. Once you get into Goose Chase, then you search Aroostook County Action Program or the ACAP Summer Scavenger Hunt, and you can participate, and it'll show you where you are in the leaderboard in comparison to others in real time. So it's quite exciting and fun, and we encourage you to join in to the ACAP Summer Scavenger Hunt. We're preparing to offer our next Homebuyer Education class after the month of July off. We will be resuming the Homebuyer Education class. It's coming right up on the 13th of August. That's Saturday, the 13th of August. It's an 8-hour Homebuyer Education class. It's taught by industry professionals. So we bring in addition to our instructor here at ACAP, we bring in some lenders, home inspectors, a real estate agent. It's not a sales environment. It's really an open course that we ask people who are interested in going through the home buyer education process and who are interested in buying a home to participate in, and it does have a fee to it. You can call Don Whitby. His number is there on the screen, or his email address is there as well. In addition to the benefit of the information you receive from the class, there's up to $3,500 that's provided through the Maine Housing Advantage Program for a successful person completing the class that could be used toward closing costs or a down payment. So it could eliminate essentially your closing cost on the purchase of your home. Please do consider, if you're looking to buy a home, to participate in this class. Again, the contact information to register is there on your screen, and we do ask you to register in advance so that you can get the Zoom link. These classes are held for the time being all virtually, so you can do it from the comfort of your home on August 13th. The farmers markets for our Women, Infant, and Children's program, but really open to the public, continue in the month of August. We had 2 great farmers markets in the month of July. We have one on the 4th. So this coming week, this Thursday, there will be one at our customer service center at 771 Main Street. There will also be one on the 17th. That's a couple of Wednesdays from now. That again at our 771 Main Street facility. You do not need to be a WIC customer to take advantage of the farmers market. We certainly encourage families with young children, if you are interested in becoming a WIC customer, to do that, because there are benefits that you can use through the WIC program to purchase those fresh, healthy fruits and vegetables offered through the farmers market and our partners Gone Farms out of Caribou, who participate in the farmers market each of the dates noted there on your screen. We also want to share with you that the Head Start and Early Head Start program continue to enroll. There are a couple of spots that are filled at this point in Aroostook County, but some slots do remain. So if you have a child or are anticipating having a child in the coming months, or have a child in your home to the age of 5, please consider learning more about this program and applying. You can call us at 554-4176, email us at headstart@acap-me.org, or you can just connect with us online and complete the application off of our website right there under the Early Care and Education section. And we encourage you to do that and learn more about these availabilities across Aroostook County. We also remind individuals out there looking to enhance their workforce skills or re-engage in the workforce that Maine's Workforce Collaborative, that includes the Northeastern Workforce Development Board, of which ACAP is a part of through our partnership with Eastern Maine Development Corporation, that we are offering a series of workshops and trainings that is a collaborative of all of the partners listed here on the screen. And those sessions include things from interviewing tips and tricks to making career choices, helping you with your resume, job preparation, and helping you to retain your job, and also navigating job searches and things of that nature. You can go directly to our website on the Workforce Development page of the ACAP website to register for any of these free classes that are offered remotely and by all of the partners listed there on your screen. We also are in our COVID Corner section of news and information. You can use the latest data that we have available, indicates Aroostook County, and in fact, the entire state of Maine are in low-level community transmission status, although this changes and can change frequently, or can change quickly, I should say. So please do keep posted to the CDC website related to this status level change. We're still continuing to recommend vaccination and boosting for all individuals. You can go to maine.gov/COVID-19/vaccines for more information on that. It's also available for those under 5 at this time as well. Free at-home COVID tests continue to be available through the covidtest.gov website. They recycle this, so if you haven't ordered a second or third set, you are able to do that at this point. And if you haven't ordered through accesscovidtest.org, there are still 5 test kits available there for households as well. And as I mentioned, COVID vaccines, as we've been talking about since June, have been approved for children under the age of 5 or 5 and under. We encourage folks to have conversations with their pediatricians on that. You can also visit bravelikeme.com for more information on the pediatric vaccines for COVID-19. And lastly, in the COVID news section, we want to remind folks that ACAP, if you are asked to isolate or quarantine because of a COVID diagnosis or a close contact, you can contact us or the Department of Health and Human Services, who will dispatch us to provide COVID-19 community supports to you, which can include grocery and meal delivery directly to your home by a member of our team, so that you can safely isolate or quarantine. So we want to remind folks again that this service is available if you are asked to isolate or quarantine. And lastly, if we haven't talked about something and you are in need of a service, or you are in need of program supports at this time, please consider reaching out to us here at ACAP. We have a team of navigators who are available to help connect you not only with programs inside of our agency, but with community partner programs that they are aware of that you might not be aware of. So please do consider giving us a call at 764-3721 to connect with an ACAP navigator should you need. And with that, that's this week's news and information that you can use. I am so pleased to welcome now to the program 3 guests from here at ACAP, one of whom works with us as a consultant. She is Marie Robinson. She is an international board certified lactation consultant, and she's making her first appearance here on ACAP today. Marie, welcome to the program. Oops, Marie's still on mute. We're getting.
Thank you so much, Jason.
Great to have you. And she's joined by two familiar faces who have been on ACAP today before. One is Connie Montpetit, who's ACAP's breastfeeding peer counselor, support counselor. And she's going to talk about the work that she does and the importance of breastfeeding during this World Breastfeeding Awareness Week. And of course, Katy Faulkner, who we tried to have on the program just a few weeks ago. She was traveling and we had a poor connection with her. So I'm glad to have you both. Welcome, Connie and Katy. Katy, of course, works with our WIC program, is community educator there. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you, Jason.
All right, so let's get right into it by sharing with us. And Connie, since you're sort of our internal agency expert on this, tell me about World Breastfeeding Awareness Week. What is it and what do we need to know about this week and why it's so important?
Every year, World Breastfeeding Week, well, it falls at the same week. It's the first week of August. And they kind of get together and decide what the topic is going to be for each year, depending on what's going on. And this year they decided to go with Step Up for Breastfeeding. And it's really important because in order to succeed, you kind of need to have everybody together, work together to help mom succeed in this. And as you see here in form, you're informing moms, and you're also informing the public, you know, who don't all view breastfeeding as a necessity, but it's part of needing the education where you find out, well, yes, formula is a good supplement, but there is no competition between formula and breast milk, because breast milk is created in the body specifically for your child's needs. So if a child, you know, in the amount of nutrition and everything that your child needs, if your child needs, has a cold, your body will switch into prescription mode and give your child the extra nutrients that they need during that cold to fight that cold. And breastfeeding will decrease the chances of them catching a cold, but they still, you know, they'll still catch it. It's still normal, but it won't be as severe because they have the antibodies to fight it sooner. And then just getting parents to understand to work together, families to work together to support mom, you know, to get the workplaces to provide a safe and clean environment for mom to either breastfeed or to pump so that she can continue providing this nutrition for her child. My job here is moms get referred to me from our WIC clients, and I'm a certified lactation consultant as well. So I can speak to moms on different aspects, but I do yield what I feel is not in my my caliber. I'll yield it to Katy, and I'll yield it to Marie, depending on how severe the need is for mom to get the extra help. And then also being in this position, we can also share the other services that we have here at ACAP. So.
Sure, we'll talk about those in just a minute with Katy in particular, but I want to transition over to Marie for a moment here. Marie, help us understand, first of all, I introduced you as an international board certified lactation consultant. For folks who aren't involved with breastfeeding or don't have young children, talk about what that means to be an international board certified lactation consultant.
Yes, so the IBCLC credential is considered the gold standard of lactation credentials. It takes a few years to go through all the requirements and the education, and there's a clinical component as well. You need 1,000 hours of clinical experience to even sit for the board exam. So there's quite a bit to it, and it does take a while. So it's kind of, if you have a situation where someone is breastfeeding and it's a complicated situation medically, that's the referral that you want. You want to send that person to an IBCLC so they can work with them.
Now, Marie, in addition to holding this particular role, you work in a local labor and delivery unit here in Aroostook County. How does that work, and working with new moms in particular, how does that work really become very foundational for helping? Because it seems like, as we're talking about this and hearing Connie and hearing you speak, there is a process. There's as World Breastfeeding Awareness Week might suggest, you're talking about educating and supporting being the theme of this year's World Breastfeeding Awareness Week. There is a process. There is a lot of education and support that goes around helping breastfeeding women. Talk about how that all sort of ties in together and ties in right from the point when a mom gives birth.
Yeah, so I am a registered nurse, and in that setting, taking care of laboring mothers and postpartum patients, it's one of the big things that we see is that it's so important to get that education and support that ideally will start during pregnancy. During the pandemic, that has been very difficult just because those in-person classes for birth support and childbirthing haven't been available. There's been online resources, but it just doesn't compare. So many people are going into their labor and delivery process just not as prepared as maybe they would have been if those things had been in place. So it becomes even more important postpartum that we have the education and support available. And the really great thing is about the ACAP WIC program is that we do have this breastfeeding support available, and it can be started in pregnancy. So I would really encourage people to reach out for that, because it can make all the difference in those first few crucial days of breastfeeding.
Indeed, and I know you mentioned the Women, Infant, and Children's program, or the WIC program here at ACAP. Katy Faulkner, you are a community educator in that program. I think that part of the work that you do sort of picks up in many cases from what a labor and delivery nurse like Marie does initially in those days when the women, or the very short time, relatively speaking, that the woman and the newborn baby are with them in the hospital. You really pick up from some of that work nutritionally speaking, and obviously work with your colleague Connie to be able to help refer any areas where there are breastfeeding needs, information, support, and the like. So talk about the overall importance of what you do in the WIC program, and how breastfeeding is a part of that nutritional equation for families, mothers in particular, with young children.
Okay, sure. So when we get referrals or pregnant ladies coming to us, we automatically, very first appointment, start talking about breastfeeding, because to us, we promote breastfeeding. Now we help support other moms who have babies that need formula, but we educate them on anything that has to do with breastfeeding, nutritional assessments, anything like that for their pregnancy. So we start very early, as soon as they come to us, talking about breastfeeding and the importance of it. And then even during pregnancy, if they have questions, we can refer them to Connie or to Marie. But mostly we would refer someone to Marie if after they have the baby, if they're having complications. And it's something that we don't feel comfortable with handling in like an appointment or in-house here, because Marie does have that expertise on it that we do not. Now, all of us here in the WIC program are CLCs, so we did have to have the education and take a test and all of that to get certified. So we do know some, actually we know a lot, but Marie tops it with us with her gold standard, as she said. And so Really after a baby's born, we have them come in within the first month to make sure that weights, heights, everything is good. We try to get them obviously earlier than the month, but depending on their schedule and if there's any complications during delivery and labor, then those kinds of things have to play in also. We are starting to see people in office a whole lot more than what we had been in the last 2.5 years because of the pandemic. And so we're starting to see a lot of women not so frustrated with breastfeeding as they get to come in and talk to us rather than it being over the phone. And then the other aspect is that we have some women who are trying to relactate or start trying to breastfeed again, just due to the severity of the formula recall and shortage. And so that's really promising and nice to hear and see. And really that's those services that we do, and obviously nutritional services that we offer for pregnant moms and postpartum breastfeeding and children up to age 5.
Yeah, I want to pick up on part of what you just said, because I think it obviously plays large in terms of what we're seeing across the country right now with the formula shortage. And I want to get a better understanding from both Connie and Marie in terms of the impact on women making the potential option or taking the option to breastfeed given that shortage. But Connie, before we do that, let me ask you, are there instances in which breastfeeding is not an option? Is that an area, obviously, if it's not maybe the natural birth mother or lactating woman, but are there areas where it's just not possible?
It does happen that it's not possible. It's the reasons are not as abundant as some may think they are, because I mean, I've spoken to moms who've had babies with a cleft palate, and actually breast milk or from the breast is better because mom's breast can fill in the empty spaces and to create the suction for the baby to nurse. We've got, I mean, there's a protein allergy, and Marie can answer that better than me, but there's a protein allergy to mom's breast milk, and that would be deadly for the baby, but it's not common. And then, of course, with the influx of drug issues that we've had, you know, some of them, actually, none of them are safe for the baby. Not safe for mom, and you figure, put it into a small child, it's not safe. But if mom is taking methadone, and you know, those are okay to nurse with that. Even if a mom smokes, sometimes they say I smoke and I can't breastfeed. They can. They just need to not do it around the child. They need to do it outside and change their clothing when they come back in, because even the residual from what we call third-hand smoke, the baby can be affected by that. You know, it would affect their epigenetics there. So yeah, there is not many reasons not to, but a lot of it is fear of the unknown or hearing somebody's horror story. But a lot of moms have actually put that aside because of the shortage. I've spoken to a few moms, you know, that said, hey, I'm just gonna give the baby, and you know, the colostrum, which is very important. It's like giving the baby a booster shot right after they're born. They're getting all the nutrients and everything that's necessary at that time. And when I spoke to a mom who was just going to do that, and she goes, you know, with the shortage, I thought I'm just going to keep going. And she's 6 months down the road, and she's still nursing, and she found it wasn't that bad. It was a lot easier. You know, so there's so many things, and it's not always easy, but it's worth it. It's worth it in the long run. And not all moms can do it, and you can't fault them for that either. So, I mean, we all do the best that we can for our children. That's just how it goes. But if they can provide it, and the if we were following the baby friendly breastfeeding, you know, first of all, there's mom's milk, and then you could go, you know, to a milk bank or a wet nurse. You know, and those are all things that are really important, and it shows the value. There's in my training, they were talking about a mother who had twins, and one twin was sickly and the other one was healthy, and she fed them on the same, each had the same side, I mean their own side, and when she pumped the milk on the healthy child side looked like what the milk should be at that age, and then on the sickly child it was more of the gold color of the colostrum. So the body knew that this child needed more nutrients to get better. And then, so yeah, it's, but I've noticed a difference that moms are pushing it more, even if they exclusively pump. We work with them to make sure they keep the supply going with that, because you do need the skin body contact for those hormones to get your milk supply going.
Marie, are you seeing that same thing as well, sort of an increase in interest and actual women choosing to breastfeed because of this formula shortage and the recall?
I've definitely heard and felt that fear, and that factoring in for families who are making the decision on how to feed their child creates it's a lot of pressure to know that formula is not available. I think the shortage has created an unimaginable amount of stress, obviously, and fear for parents. Just my heart has really gone out to families throughout this whole shortage, just thinking about how awful it is to look at those shelves in the stores looking for food for your child and just to find them empty. I think it's easy to say, well, yeah, just breastfeed, but it's not the whole story. Many people, through no fault of their own, just didn't get that support that they needed to breastfeed. Or as Connie was going through, there may be a medical reason for that they were unable to breastfeed. But it does factor in. I've heard it from parents, you know, we're not sure if we can even get formula. So, you know, we're gonna try and make a go of this for sure.
Marie, what does you mentioned the support, and we talk about the education and support during this World Breastfeeding Week. What does that look like for women? What is it that folks like you and Connie do with women to help educate and support them in a decision to breastfeed? Talk about what that looks like, so that when people out there are listening and saying that is the service that's provided.
So being informed of all the risks and benefits of the decision, whether you're going to choose to breastfeed exclusively, pump, or formula feed, I think that being informed of all that helps empower parents to make the decision that's right for themselves and their families. And it's not only healthcare facilities that provide that support. Pediatricians, midwives, community members, employers, and a huge part of it is family support. So the people that woman loves and the people that love her, their opinion on breastfeeding and their support, it can really make all the difference. So grandparents and husbands and fathers, if they are on board and just really supporting the breastfeeding mother, that can make all the difference in whether or not she continues. Another great component of community support would be like mother-to-mother support groups. Unfortunately, there's none locally right now. There's some happening via Zoom, which is certainly better than nothing at all. But being able to have other breastfeeding mothers together, that can also help a lot, because it just makes them feel like they're not alone in their struggles, and normalizes, things that they're going through.
There is, Marie, a component, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I recall when we had our two children, especially the first child, there's a component that helps moms that you and Connie work on, and I imagine you do a lot of that in your labor and delivery nurse role, to help with technique, correct? Because it's not all, I think folks sometimes think that it's instinctive or it just kind of happens, and there is sometimes a challenge with the child latching on or things of that nature it's taught, is it not?
Oh, absolutely. I like to say that, breastfeeding people think, well, it's such a natural thing. It should be easy. It should just happen. But I say it's natural, not so much like breathing, but more like walking. You can kind of fall down and have some struggles on your way to learn how to walk as you're figuring things out, yourself and your baby. It can be a little rough at first, and having somebody there that, one, you can talk to and ask questions, and you can also have someone right there to help you optimize that latch, say, oh, just move him down a little bit this way and move your breast a little bit this way, and see, doesn't that feel better? That's a deep latch. You can see your baby's drinking milk right now, where before they weren't really swallowing much milk. Having someone right there just to help you, that is huge. And when you don't have that right there, it can really affect your confidence level, and it can be easy to, especially in the first few days, have more weight loss than you want. So having that support is key. That's a great point, Jason.
I just wanted to make sure that we clarified that for moms, because that oftentimes becomes the impediment for continuing to breastfeed, because if you don't feel successful at doing something initially, you tend to maybe give up on it. And so the support that you and Connie provide includes that technical assistance, if you want to call it that, I suppose, in terms of how to successfully breastfeed.
Yes, absolutely.
Great. Katy, I want to transition to the work that you do, and sort of picking up at the overall nutritional benefit, because I think that altogether too often one of the challenges that we face with the WIC program is that people's moms might have participated in the WIC program a generation ago, or even a woman might have participated in the WIC program, a family might have participated in the WIC program even just a few years ago, and felt it was a lot of hassle, and you used to have to go to the grocery store, and it would be a long checkout process and things like that. We want to talk a little bit, because I think we need to sort of dispel some of the myths and talk about some of the changes that have happened with the WIC program that make it much more user friendly, much more mom friendly, if you will. And really, encourage people, if they've heard horror stories, or if they've tried it before and they found it challenging, particularly at the grocery store, that things have changed, and maybe share some of those advancements and developments.
Yeah, of course. So the benefit packages used to be all on checks, and you used to have to go to the store and check out, tell them you were a WIC participant or client, and you would have to separate all of the WIC foods from non-WIC foods at the cash register, and you would have to buy everything that was on that check all at one time. So even if it was like 3 gallons of milk, you would have to buy the 3 gallons of milk all at one time. You do not have to do that anymore. We now have a card, and we call it the eWIC card, and it looks just like a debit card or a gift card or anything, and you can buy 1 gallon of milk at a time if that's what you wish to do. Your whole allotment of your benefits stay on for the entire month, and you can buy as you please through that month. You also no longer have to tell the cashier or whomever that you are a WIC participant. And you can put all of your groceries together. So we just tell people that when they're checking out, make sure you always pay with your eWIC card first, as we want the benefits to come off first, and then they can pay with whatever tender that they need to pay with after that. Also, we have now an app that we call the WIC Shopper app. So they don't have to carry around folders in the store anymore. Some people used to say that it was really embarrassing. Some people liked the folders. And now on that app, it's going to tell you what you have for the entire month. And it will tell you when your next appointment is. It will, there's a scanner actually on there that you can scan the barcodes in the stores, and it's going to tell you whether or not it's a WIC approved item or not. Also, they have updated the food lists. So you actually get more now, and more of a different variety, I want to say, within the brands of the foods and whatnot. And so that food list is also on that app. So we will help people download the app if they're not sure. We can still print off a list of their food lists at their appointment or whatnot if they don't want to download the app. And then even for farmers market this year, we now have a new app and a barcode for that. So everything is going definitely towards technology, and that it's progressing in that sense. But if anybody has any difficulties with it or whatnot, then all they need to do is just call us right here at the local agency, and we will get more information to them, or talk to them over the phone, or they can even just stop by and talk to us about it.
And Katie, this is relevant to our conversation because there's actually been an increase, correct, in the breastfeeding for breastfeeding moms in the support. Talk about that for a moment.
Yeah.
I just want to make the connection.
So breastfeeding mothers have the highest food packet out of anybody. So they're going to get more milk. They're going to get all of that stuff. And it's so that they have the nutrition to keep them going to breastfeed. And then obviously, if they're not breastfeeding, they still get a good food package, but the breastfeeding moms get the highest food package available. And it's a lot of food. Even with the fruits and vegetables over this pandemic, they've increased them. The breastfeeding moms get the highest amount of money for the fruits and vegetables to get at the store. And that's simply because we need them to keep their strength up to keep going. It's not easy to keep going with if you've got a toddler at home and a brand new baby, or twins, or even just a brand new baby. You get tired, so you're going to need the nutritional foods and drinks to keep you going.
And so just quickly, aside from clarifying that and making sure people understand that this is not your mom's old WIC program, or even maybe the WIC program of when you had your first child not that long ago, there's been a lot of really positive change in the program that makes it more user friendly. The other thing I just want to quickly ask you to help I sort of clarify as a myth is, and sometimes because the WIC program is part of a Aroostook County Action Program, people think, gosh, I didn't qualify for HEAP, so there's no way I'm going to qualify for WIC, or there are other programs that I maybe didn't qualify for. But the threshold for being able to qualify for the WIC program is much higher than a number of our other programs. And I think people don't always understand that and just assume that it's not for them. But in many cases, Katie, it very much is and could be, correct?
It very much so. So any breastfeeding, pregnant, postpartum mom, even if she's not breastfeeding, and baby from newborn up to age 5, if any of them have main care, they automatically qualify. No matter what the household income is, as long as they have main care, they automatically qualify. If somebody doesn't have main care, Jason, then we do go by household income. And a lot of times every single year it goes up, the threshold per se of the eligibility. So if somebody has questions, give us a call, because all of us have our income eligibility guidelines right here in front of our phones, so that we can help. Now, we've had a lot of people drop off because the food stamps have gone up. But what food stamps offers and what we offer are completely different, because we offer a counseling aspect, an ear for someone just to talk into, ask questions about if this is happening, or helping with their child with food and all of this. We also do like iron tests. You can't get that through food stamps. You can do that through your pediatrician, but you can get into us a lot quicker than probably a pediatrician at this point. And so again, we encourage people just to stay on for even help, and it will help with their benefits to get more food and fruits and vegetables.
Yeah, and essentially just don't assume that it's not for you. Give us a call and let us help identify and determine whether that's the case or not.
That's right.
Thanks, Katie. A last round of questioning. I want to sort of go back to you, Connie. It does really matter, as Katie was saying, that there's that additional benefit for breastfeeding moms. In the context of helping to educate our community during this World Breastfeeding Awareness Week, it does matter what a mom ingests or what a mom eats during their time, both as a pregnant woman and as a woman that's breastfeeding. That does matter, doesn't it?
It does. It definitely does. The way the body is made, it's made to take care of the baby first. So if you're not eating well, the nutrition that the body is grabbing from that, the good parts, is going to go to the baby, and you're left with what's left. And that's not leaving the nutrition your body needs to continue functioning, to eventually it'll take its toll and it'll decrease your supply. But before that happens, your energy will decrease. You'll have a hard time to get going in the morning or get going, period. And this is already like a hormonal time, and so your body is already out of whack. So if you have that extra nutrition, it'll help put things back into place. So you want to be healthy, and I know, some say, well, if I nurse, I'll lose weight. You will, but all you need is an extra 500 calories a day, and that's not a good idea to have a Snicker bar or something, unless that's the only thing you can find when you're really hungry. But I mean, you have an apple or you have peanut butter or something that'll give you your extra 500 calories that'll help keep things going. And what I say is, I tell them, just prepare yourself when you have a moment, prepare yourself some quick snacks so that you can grab it. Really important is stay hydrated. Drink lots of water. Keep a bottle of water next to you, because breast milk is mostly water. So if you figure, if the well's going dry, you're not getting anything out of it. So you need to replenish that well. You need to keep that water going.
So given all of that, let me start with you on this one, and then go to Marie and Katie. What have we not talked about that you wanted to make sure people were aware about breastfeeding during this World Breastfeeding Awareness Month?
Breastfeeding really needs to become common. It's people are celebrating it rather than well, you shouldn't be breastfeeding here in church, or you shouldn't be breastfeeding in public. Yes, we should be, because our child is eating. I don't need to cover my child unless I am more comfortable covering myself while I'm breastfeeding my child. Would you put a pillow over your head while you're eating? I mean, you need to remember that this child here is a person, and just like any other person, they have needs, and they might have things that they like and things that they don't like, and that includes the food that's inside the breast milk. When mom eats foods, the babies tasted the food. So when they start going to table food, they tasted it already. It's a familiar taste. So I guess just to me, the really, really important thing is we need to normalize breastfeeding. We need to celebrate and congratulate mothers who are doing it, because it's not always an easy task. That's my 5 cents.
All right, Marie, what's your last thoughts about this World Breastfeeding Awareness Week and what we want to educate our community about?
Well, just it takes a village, and for everyone to realize that they have a role in being able to support the nutrition of our women and children going forward. One of the goals that the World Breastfeeding Week is trying to highlight is that we are trying to increase our global nutrition. We're trying to meet our global nutrition targets by 2025. And one of those goals is at least 50% exclusive breastfeeding in the first 6 months. And globally, currently, that statistic is 38%. So we've got our eye on the prize here, and everybody can work together. I wanted to give everyone a good starting point if they're looking for more resources on breastfeeding. So parents and professionals or anybody interested in learning more about breastfeeding or getting connected with resources can go to the Maine State Breastfeeding Coalition website, and that is at www.mainebreastfeeds.org. And that's a great starting point.
Great resource. And then if they of course want to reach out for an in-person resource, I know that 3 of you are available. You can contact us through ACAP and get connected with any one of the 3 of you to talk about those conversations. And we certainly welcome folks to walk in particular our WIC program usually has somebody right here on site. They go to different sites across Aroostook County. So if you're in Southern Aroostook or up in the St. John Valley, just give us a call and we can let you know what day that we're down or up in this case at those sites, right, Katy Faulkner?
That's right. There's never any question that's too silly or problem that can't really be resolved. And so we just need people to get past your fear a little bit and call us or come in to see us so that we can help you and get you going. But most definitely we're in multiple areas, like you said, and would be more than happy to help in any way that we can.
Great. Well, anything else that you'd like to add as your last thought?
Just that, again, there's no question or problem that's too silly. We have a lot of moms who come in here and have stopped breastfeeding because the latch wasn't correct, or it was hurting, or the pediatrician had said that they weren't gaining enough weight. Well, we can work with pediatricians too to see what we can do to keep some breast milk going, even if it's just pumping. And then we can work with the latches. We can work with all of that kind of stuff. But the big pieces is education, because a lot of people don't know that and have not been educated on stuff when they come to us, or they're just scared because of what other people will think. So we just need to educate on different aspects of breastfeeding within the agency, within the community, within healthcare providers, so that we can help people.
And it's absolutely true. All of those scenarios that you just shared are things that other women have experienced in their journey with breastfeeding. And so why go it alone? Reach
That's
out.
right.
And the 3 professionals on the screen with me here are individuals who really can be of help to you in that journey. So if you're a woman out there who's even considering breastfeeding, has maybe is pregnant, considering getting pregnant, it's never too early to start asking those questions. You don't have to wait until after you've had the baby, I think is what our guests have shared today. So do reach out, ask the questions. We are available resource here for you. And again, we can connect with you wherever you are in Aroostook County, as we do travel the county with this program. And hopefully soon, by next year at this time, perhaps we'll have a mobile services unit that will allow us to go to even smaller communities that we don't have office facilities in, and bring our experts like this on that mobile service unit with us so that they can connect with you in your community. So with that, I want to thank again my guests, Marie, Katy, and Connie, for joining me during this World Breastfeeding Awareness Week, a very important topic and a very important cause as we try to ensure that our future generation is as healthy as possible, in the direct correlation that we've heard about that here in this program. So thank you for the great work that you do and for being available for women across our county as a resource. That's I think probably the most important thing that we've taken from this conversation. So again, thank you. Before we leave the rest of you for this week, we want to share with you, as we always do at this point in the broadcast, our snapshot of the week. And throughout this 50th anniversary for ACAP, we've been doing our throwback snapshot of the week. And this week's throwback snapshot of the week takes us to Caribou, where Early Care and Education Center there on the Bowles Road was undergoing some construction and renovation in the year 1994. Of course, many of you will remember, who were around in the 90s in Aroostook County, that center became a very vibrant center for ACAP's Migrant Head Start program, the East Coast Migrant Head Start program, when families, most of whom would come into the area to help harvest broccoli and other crops here in Aroostook County came as a family, and we were working with children in this particular then preschool center, now early care and education center, with that Migrant Head Start program. And so thank you to the contractors who have made that building what it was. I understand from those who remember it back in the day that this facility, this site, including the building that was originally on site, was at one point a drive-in theater, followed by a dance hall, and now today is an early care and education center where we serve children from the greater Caribou area with great services and a wonderful team there delivering those services. So we thank all of our team members in Caribou, and we thank all of our team members across the agency for the hard work that they do every day. With that, that's this week's edition of ACAP Today. We'll be back next week with a brand new edition of ACAP Today and a fascinating topic then as well. We hope you join us then. Until then, have a great week, everyone.